Have you ever wondered how to transform your flat 2D images into a stunning 3D visuals? In just a few minutes, I will show you how to create eye-catching parallax effects using DaVinci Resolve. So let's dive right in and elevate your motion graphics game. This is how we will create our parallax by taking a 2D layer in Fusion and bringing it into the 3D space. We have our couple of images here. We have our log cabin and we have our background. We just take the background normally and just connect it there, make the merge here, throw in a transform, and then we're able to just adjust it. And from there, we have our 2D image. But if you want to do some parallax or something special like that, it's easiest to bring things into 3D space and make them into 3D layers. The whole key to that is this icon right here, which is a 3D plane. I can click and just drag this into our Fusion composition, and we're going to then take and move this into our second viewer and just take the house and into the yellow input of our image plane. Look at that. So now all we have is a 2D layer there in a 3D space, and then we can do things with that. Now with this, we can do anything that we would normally do with the 3D stuff. In Fusion, this is pretty much how it works. You will have to have a merge 3D node, which is this right here. You drag that on down, and you're going to have a render 3D, which is that node right here. We just need both of these. The merge 3D is like your 3D world, so you can take this image plane 3D and plug it into the merge 3D, and there you have a 2D layer floating in a 3D space. So you put this up here and you can see that we have this 2D image now in a 3D space, but your rendering still looks as a 2D image. So what I can do is a similar thing and grab another image, plane 3D, and put that down on our composition, and then we will take our background and drag that into the 3D image, and that will then go into our merge. Therefore, we now have a 3D image with a background. Now we have both of these on the exact same plane. So if you look at the merge 3D, we are now on the exact same plane. So I'm just now going to select the image plane 3D, and we're going to push that back just a little bit by grabbing this blue arrow and moving it back. So now we have a little bit of a separation between the two images. I can also go over to the transform right here in the upper right, and then go down to scale, and then I can increase the size of the background. So now we have this background behind our house, which is also scaled way up. We have these 2D images on our 3D planes. So for now, we're going to take our merge 3D and we're going to put it into our left viewer so we can see what's going on with it. Now let's take a look at our render 3D. Over here you can see that we are on different planes with our house, and we're going to take our render 3D and put it into our right viewer. And with that, you can then scale up the image plane, the background, and make it way bigger. Say around there is fine. From there, we can just take our image plane 3D for our house, and then we can just take and move our house to wherever you want it to be. Just move it around and just set it where you want. You can move it left to right, up and down. But now this is where the good stuff comes in. We can take and add a 3D camera, and then from there we can take our 3D camera and put it onto our composition, and from there we can just take and plug that into our merge 3D. And as you can see, it changes the render because the camera is in a different place. But over here on that merge 3D, I can grab this camera and we can then just move it to a position, and we can take and move the camera back, and we can then gain a new perspective Just center click and you can move it around anywhere you want. Move the camera back. Now move it up a little bit to center our image into our view. Now if you take your camera and you move it a little bit left and right, side to side, you will see that there is a little bit of parallax in here, that the background is moving slower than the foreground. You're just going to have to tweak your foreground image and background image by selecting which plane you're going to be working with, whether it's the cabin or whether it's the background. In our case, we're using the cabin and we're increasing the cabin a little bit in size. So then once that is bigger and closer to the camera, we will then get a big shift in the parallax. So as you move your camera left and right, you will see that you get very good parallax in here. From there, you can move this into any image that you want, and you can put it on a different background. And then once you do that, you now have a background that is moving slower than the foreground. So that will give you what you need for this parallax effect.